All right, we are live with the boy who lived.
Wow, that was the fastest recording in progress. I mean, bro didn't even say hello. I've been in this meeting for 5 seconds.
We're ready to go.
My goodness. Let me collect my thoughts at least.
Wait, when it's time, it's time. That's showbiz. Whoops.
Fair, fair. Whoa, whoa,
Um,
whoa, whoa. No spoilers, no
ignore this, ignore
spoilers.
this, ignore this. Okay. Week 10, we missed last week. Didn't feel like anything needed to be covered, really. That was my thought process. Um, Nothing really changed, and I was feeling sick. Um, so here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah, glad to have you.
Always a pleasure.
Carter, word of the day is election. When should we do elections, Carter?
Elections for this league.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I haven't thought about it until I was asked just at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe it should be more of a postseason thing, something to keep the fellas engaged in the off season. But that's just spur of the moment, just tip of the dome type of answer.
Yeah. And should we have an electoral college?
To be honest, I don't care as long as we have a stringent voter ID system. I want to make sure that all the votes are legal
So
and all the
Tyler,
votes are counted.
yeah.
I don't care about much else, but I heard there's allegations of some voter fraud at the Grant Moore household. I won't get too far into it, but I just want to make sure the election is free and fair.
Hmm. I hadn't heard that. Might
Yeah,
have to launch an investigation.
I heard Karen's going to be stuff in the ballot box, but just rumors, just rumors.
Okay. All right. Today's episode, we're gonna do a little draft recap. Just kind of look back at what could have been, going through each round and give some analysis.
What could have been?
Hmm.
I mean, it's draft day, the best day of the year.
For some, for others, it was just a day.
But in the moment, isn't it everyone's best day?
True. Okay. Let's move that down there. Round one, I'll give you a minute to take a look. For me, I said the best pick was Justin Jefferson, wide receiver two, going at pick seven. That just felt like a really solid pick. And the worst, I mean, that's pretty
Come
gimme.
on. Come on. Yeah.
McCaffrey. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, noticing this, yeah, four receivers going ahead of Justin Jefferson. You can't argue with the numbers. He's wide receiver too. I think I was pretty generous to Nixon in my power rankings this week, and Justin Jefferson, a big reason why. That is kind of wild. I guess people were worried about the quarterbacks, but he was
yep.
the fifth receiver taken. That obviously the talent's there. But yeah, interesting to look at for sure. Yeah, I look at this. I don't see maybe any unless I'm missing something that just stunned me, except for, of course, the first pick, because that's just how it goes.
I was thinking that pretty solid first round.
Yeah. Would there have been any thought in your mind of taking McCaffrey or of not taking McCaffrey had you had the first pick, or did you feel like he was always a
Yeah,
lock?
he was the one.
And that's what's so disappointing is you can be Hayden Fly and do everything right, and 11 weeks later your team is called McCaff Hurdy. It's
Yeah.
just it's a cold world.
And Grogan dodged a bullet. Lest we forget, Hayden kind of is this karma? I think so. Remember, Hayden had 12. Grogan
Yeah,
had 10, we
I
swapped
guess you
them.
could see my face. I was like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
I was just gonna let it go. I was just gonna let it go. Wait, what happened?
remember. Hayden had the 12th, Grogan had the first, and we decided whoever won Jeopardy, we could switch pick
Oh,
one person.
goodness. Yeah, yeah. Grogan sure dodged that bullet. He's having a heck of a season now.
For sure.
Sarcasm.
All right, round two, best pick. Ninth pick in the round. I'm gonna go Derrick Henry. He's either the running back one or two. Just really solid. Saquon was also up there,
Yep.
me personally. And worst pick, we give it to ETN at the moment. Olave, close second, and now he is on IR, probably maybe for the rest of the year.
Yes. I would
So
also
to be made.
throw out. I know he was good early on, and maybe he'll come back, but obviously it's been unfortunate seeing Pacheco here, um, just missing for large swaths of the season. Um, but yeah, man, I mean, Derrick Henry has been, he's played like a top 10 pick. And like everyone was hyping up, Henry on the Ravens. So, but I mean, I guess I didn't have the chance to take him in this round. Yeah, Olave has just been horrific. Been whatever the opposite of an absolute pleasure is, it's been that having him on my team this year.
No doubt. Third round, best pick Malik Neighbors.
Yeah.
Absolute stud. I think he's wide receiver 7 or 12. Absolutely insane. Joe Mixon also, probably would have
Yeah.
been up there.
Yeah, and that's a guy. I mean, Joe Mixon. That's the guy you take and you hold on to him for the rest of the
Yeah,
season.
you don't let
That's a
him.
heck of a pick.
You don't lose him.
You don't even look at any offers. You don't even sniff them. Is what you don't do.
Yep. And worst pick, gonna go to me, Michael Pittman.
Mm.
I think I played him twice all year. Just looking at really just anybody around would have been so much better.
Yeah, but you got to say too. I mean, and I know this because I have him in another league, but Sam Laporta has not been a third round tight end at all.
Yeah,
I mean,
but he's been playable. Pittman has not.
he's been. That's true. That's true. But the tight end position is also so weak. I'm not saying he's the worst pick, but Laporta this year, from at least the numbers I remember, has been like a guy like numbers wise you would pick up on the waiver and put him in for a week and he might get 7 points and you're like, okay, that whatever. Using a third round pick on that, especially for what's otherwise been a solid draft and season for Etienne Pasta, that's a tough one.
Yep. Round 4, best pick Alvin Kamara, no doubt. Running back 2 on the year. Everyone up, pretty solid round.
Yep.
All in all, Mark Andrews kind of come on as of late. So worst pick, I'm gonna go Jalen Waddle. I believe I looked; he only scored more than 10 points once this year.
That is a wild stat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you'd obviously say I think the Fellowship of the Rookies is happy with the Lamar pick here. First quarterback taken, if I'm not mistaken. I'm happy with my Josh Allen pick.
Oh wait, never mind.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Disregard.
Cooper Kupp, could he lead to a late season surge? He's been balling in the week since he's been back. So that's one where at the end of the year, we could still maybe end up saying that was a good pick if Etienne Pasta gets into the playoffs. Very interesting draft for Etienne Pasta. I feel like every round I've got something to say about his pick, whether it's good, bad, injured. The guy was all over the place.
But classic Nixon.
Classic.
Round 5, bit of a stinker here. Pick, probably James Conner. Trey McBride, close second for me. He's been solid, tight end 4 on the year. Worst pick. I'm going through it right now. Gonna give it to myself again. Anthony Richardson. Also unplayable. Zamir White, close second though. High expectation.
I think I would argue, and I'm biased. The hosts of this show really killed it in this round. But, I feel like you're able to replace a quarterback more than, I've been trying to replace this Zamir White pick all season with how weak running back is. And this guy was just awful from week 1. I need to look. I don't know if he ever hit 10 points. Looking at this, I'm curious, what's been Mr. Jonathan Brooks for Fellowship of the Rookies? Has he been? Looks like he's not doing too much he has
done nothing.
He has not played all season.
But he was expected to have not played.
I did think that was more of like a 6-week type deal, and we're in like week 11 now. Because if you knew he wasn't going to play this long, surely that's not a 5th round pick.
No doubt. But honestly, you'd still probably have taken him over Zamir White, even if you knew that now.
Fair.
That's just my thought process.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. I was just more curious looking at that.
Also a bad pick. Yeah. Not a good round.
Not a great round.
Just in totality. 6. Best pick I'm giving to you. George Kittle, only because Chris Godwin is dead. RIP,
Yeah.
still the wide receiver 7 on the year. Um, just on an absolute tear. And this was a much better round. But worst
Yeah.
pick, Jalen Warren, running back 60 on the year. He's been hurt, been bad, and Najee kind of had having a resurgence in a career contract year. So
Yeah.
I'll
Those
take.
two guys picked 10 and 11, both on my roster now. And I'm playing Calvin and the Chipmunks this week. I don't think I'm putting Jalen Warren in. He is maybe like a serviceable 8 points.
Okay.
But yeah,
Revenge.
certainly not a sixth round pick. So no revenge game incoming against Calvin and the Chipmunks this week. He'll be riding the bench. But yeah, some solid value finds here. Solid round, like you said, better than round 5, I would argue.
Yep. Round 7. Best pick, Jaden Reed. Um, Probably could have been Rashee Rice if he had not died. But Jaden Reed, wide receiver 10, I believe, on the year. Love's been going through some injuries, but definitely could finish strong. And worst pick, gonna give me Tajay Spears.
Yeah, seeing that he was picked in this round is just stunning. Like, was that pick discussed during the draft at all? I don't remember that, but I feel like even back then that would have been questionable.
They had said it was gonna be a timeshare.
Hmm. And I mean, yeah, I mean if that was the case, but I wouldn't say it's been. And even I mean Pollard's been solid, but you know I don't even know if he's putting up. He might be putting up round 7 numbers, and so Spears, yeah, just not it.
Yep. Funny you should mention Pollard. Went after Tajay Spears. I think he's the
See, that's wild. That's wild.
best pick in this round. Been the running back 20 on the year. Really solid guy under the radar. Not hearing much about him. Brandon Aubrey, close second. Gonna give him some flowers. Worst pick,
He won games.
give me Gus Edwards. Don't remember what happened to him. He's an afterthought if he's still playing.
Yeah. I also, I mean, obviously, I gravitate towards my own picks. It is interesting, though, noticing DeAndre Hopkins now on a different roster, I believe, on the roster of our podcast host, if I'm not mistaken.
You are not.
So that yeah, we've had a few from the Home Depot in recent rounds that show you why he started out 0-6 or whatever. Zach Moss, it hurts extra this week because Chase Brown has already dropped like 24 points on my head. And it's because Zach Moss is so bad, the Bengals couldn't put him in games. So that's one as well. But yeah, big storyline of round 8 for me is, if Hopkins comes on late, that's one the Home Depot just, had him when he was bad and then didn't have him when he gets good. That's one that could, I mean, I think you're going to make the playoffs anyways. That could be one that propels you further.
Could be. Zach Moss is also hurt. Just want to give him a little.
Yeah.
He's out for the
He
year.
wasn't good before he was hurt.
True. Round 9, Jaden Daniels. Been an inspiration for the NFL. Great
Third pick.
here in the ninth. Chase Brown, also very good pick here,
Yeah.
especially in recent weeks. He's really come on strong. Worst pick, Hollywood Brown. Got hurt. Was he going to be anything anyway? Who knows? But just done absolutely nothing for your team.
Yeah. To be honest, wait, who got Hollywood Brown?
Ben again.
Ben. Oh, yeah. Oof. Yeah, tough times for this guy. Noticing a defense going before Jaden Daniels, especially for a guy whose team is called Fellowship of the Rookies. I bet that's one Grant wishes he could have back, although, it's round 9, so you're just throwing darts at the dartboard. But yeah, I mean, the last pick of round 9, basically into round 10 at this point. Heck of a pick for Will Grogan. And I'm looking now, and I didn't realize how good Chase Brown had been. I knew he was now the starter, but I mean, he's been doing this. He had 20 points last week as well. So he's been serviceable to good for Tucker for weeks now. So that's a heck of a pick in round 9 when everyone's looking for that value running back.
Mm-hmm. 10, best pick to myself, Brock Bowers.
It's an outstanding pick.
Tied in 1 on the year, I believe, maybe 2. Brian Thomas Jr. also wide receiver 12. Got to give some props there. And worst pick got to be Ezekiel Elliott. an absolute nothing burger, and honestly, pretty good round here. Some really good value just looking around. Dobbins, Sutton, even Jameson Williams has had some weeks.
I'm gonna give a shout out as well because I remember I think I played him early on or I was being offered him in a trade or something, but it's tough for Tucker because Rashid Shaheed started really well and then had injury. And as an Olave owner, I was also very aware of that. So yeah, solid round. That's just one that stands out to me. Charbonnet also gave me some good weeks. A lot of people got value out of this round.
Pick 11. Pretty poor round. A lot of defenses going, so I'm going to give it to Rico Dowdle. Looking like an NFL running back this past week. Been
You
okay,
got Joe Mixon out of this round essentially. So
essentially. What a pick.
out of this round and a waiver pickup, you got Joe Mixon. That's pretty impressive.
Yep. And worst pick, I'm going to go Cowboys defense because I think they have some pretty high expectations. You played them for a couple weeks and they killed you.
Yeah. Yeah. An absolute bust there. Yeah. Not much to speak of in this round. Like you said, a lot of defenses going. Tyler Lockett's been pretty good for a round 11 pick, hasn't he?
Okay.
Serviceable.
Yeah. Round 12. Chuba Hubbard. Very solid. Jonathan Brooks, obviously still out. So he's kind of taken over.
Mm-hmm.
And Tyrone Tracy, as of late, also kind of on an explosion path here again for Tucker. So, if he had just been able to squeak out some wins early, he could be a contender level team. So
Yeah.
unfortunate for him.
Yeah. Tucker found some value for sure. Yeah. I have nothing to contribute about this round. Heck of a job from all the fellas.
And worst pick, I'll just give it to Ty Chandler. Don't know
Yeah.
who, but I don't even know.
Yep.
13, getting weak here. Kirk Cousins, and worse is the rest.
Yeah, none of these kickers I think had the Aubrey effect.
Actually, Fairbairn's been pretty good. Maybe
I was gonna shout out Kaimi Fairbairn. I had no idea what he's been doing, but he's just Kaimi Fairbairn. So you got to show some love. But yeah, some dartboard receivers here that I have heard like nothing about since the season started. I feel like I've heard Polk's name at pick 9, but I might just be making that up because I don't remember anything specific. None of these guys really stand out.
Don't think he's on the roster anymore.
That's what I heard. He got cut. I think I heard that.
Yeah. Round 14, Romeo Dobbs.
That's a good value pick.
Sure. Worst. Sorry, I picked your pick, Marvin Mims. Just because he
I don't even know who that is.
expected to be someone, kind of. I could have put the rest.
Where is Dobbs now? Because he's not on the Crawdads roster. Oh, he's on my team. Yeah, crazy. So not sure how that happened, but shout out.
How about that?
How about that? He was on bye last week. That's why I don't know.
Yep. And last round, best pick, Tank Bigsby. Been okay.
Sure.
Um,
Man, Tua could have been an absolute steal here if everything didn't go wrong for him.
so true. Well,
I'm just surprised he was the last pick.
Yeah.
A more noteworthy Mr. Irrelevant. I mean, he's been, I would argue, one of the bigger storylines of the season at Mr. Irrelevant. That's just something you notice.
Very true. All right. That was fun.
That was fun. Look back.
Last week, for the past 2 weeks, I've been the scoring champion. Houston, not a bad effort. 96.16, but you're the lowest of the week.
Wait. Am I tripping? I thought Houston beat me last week. Who did I play last week? Nah, Anakin Highwalker beat me last week with 132.
Did I pick the wrong week?
Yeah, Grant had 92. McCafferty had 84. You must have been looking at the wrong week. I was scared. I put myself on the line to say that because generally, like, odds are I would be wrong.
This is
But I
true.
was like, I feel confident that Houston was not the low scorer last week.
Houston, I accept my sincere apology. But 2 weeks ago, you were the lowest, and I was still the highest.
And we didn't do an episode 2 weeks ago. So now we've covered the past 2 weeks. Sager, the highs, Houston, and then Hayden, the lows.
Yeah.
Assuming you are the highs for the
Also,
past 2 weeks. I don't know if I can trust you anymore.
can I send a cease and desist letter to Hayden because he has Patrick Mahomes kind of as his profile picture, and he's on my team. So
Yeah, that's
thank you,
absurd.
Hayden.
That's just a guy who does not care, who's lost the love for the game, and it's sad to see.
Can't blame
And
him.
he took the effort to change his name from Mahomes. It's McCafferty now.
Yeah. All right. Season starts now. 8 wins.
Season started now like 4 weeks ago.
Still true. 8
We've
wins.
said this for the past 8 episodes.
Season starts now. 5 games remain.
I'm getting nervous. I'm getting nervous. I don't know if this roster has 2 more wins left in it.
All right, break down the standings because my voice is about to give out.
Oh, you picked the wrong guy for this. All right, taking a look at it, which is funny because I'm the only guy you could have picked for this. You have no other co-hosts. Yeah, taking a look at the standings. I don't want to delve too far into what I'll be talking about for the power rankings, but let's see. Hayden is absolutely toast. Houston had a big win last week, and we want to give him credit since we wrongly identified him for the score. But his roster, he like hasn't said it, and his team looks really bad. So to me, Let It Prevail is still the team to beat in our division, despite trailing. I think you clearly have the best roster at this point. Grogan has a very good roster, but is 3-6. And can you trust a Will Grogan team to make the playoffs after being 3-6? I don't know. Division Campbell is very good, as has been the case. Craw is having one heck of a season. I really like Nixon's roster. Not quite sure how he's 4-5. And then I'm getting into my power rankings here, but Division Johnson, I could see anyone taking it. Save, I mean, even Tucker is looking good this week, but Ben has some promising signs. Playoff chance up to 20%, which is not impossible. So like I said, I like Nixon's roster, and Grant has had some of the best weeks all year and has a winning record. So Division Johnson, I think, is going to be the one that I'll be most interested to watch.
That's a very good point. If you could tell, we've said Tucker's roster kind of on the up and up. Only 2 games with 5 left to play, and I believe he'll play Grant again. So
yeah, the fact that he's got Tyrone Tracy in his flex, and I mean he's got solid receivers on his bench. He has 4 receivers projected over 10 points. Like I don't know that we're going to see any more, like, knock on wood. And there's 5 games left, so we probably will. But I don't know that we're going to see any like stinkers from Tucker this year. Like I think he's got a solid team to where he can put up a fight every week, and you never know what can happen. And promising signs for Ben too. Like I said, heading over. Well, promising sign number 1, Jamar Chase put up 55 on this most recent game, but he's also got a solid flex in Deebo Samuel, 2 really good running backs. Chuba Hubbard on his bench, which obviously Jonathan Brooks, you got to keep an eye on that. But Division Johnson, some of their bottom feeders showing some signs of becoming middle feeders or even top feeders.
And you just got to remember, no one's eliminated yet. 5 games.
Correct.
If you win out, you don't have to win a division. You're probably in. So
that's true. 5 games left, race to 8.
Could be some drama here at the finish.
Could be. Honestly, I'm proud of the league this year. Can I just say that? I think
I'm mostly proud. As a proud Division Henry member, we could have done more.
Yeah, I think Division Henry is the worst. Although again, Rogan could bring it home, but I don't think anyone has had a terrible season. And Hayden has gone 3-6 despite having the number 1 overall.
I'll say Hayden's had a terrible season.
But is it through fault of his own?
Maybe. He stole Grogan's pick. You could call it karma.
That's true.
Picked Patrick.
I think losing the number 1 overall pick and being like 3-6 is a bad record, but it's not. We've seen worse. And everyone else, I think, has a shot at the playoffs. And the only guy that doesn't, again, I would say is mostly through bad luck. So proud of the fellas this year. You've all put together some solid seasons.
I can live with that.
Just trying to spread positivity.
All right. Week 8 power rankings. Let's look at our top 6. Where do we differ?
I'd actually rather not look at the top 6 because right off the bat, 2 weeks ago, I had Will Grogan at number 9, and you mocked me mercilessly. You said that's ridiculous. You ripped my segment out of my hands. By the way, I just want to say segment was bad. I never wanted to be a segment
I got
guy.
some feedback.
Yeah, I heard that people
were
were
going
not
to rebrand.
fans, which I understand. Sager, I never wanted to do a segment, and every week Sager would be like, "Are you going to have a segment?" So I was pressured into it. I'm not a segment guy. I realize that. We won't be making that mistake again. But I got mocked for putting Will Grogan at number 9. I'm pretty sure you had him at number 1 just 2 weeks ago. Now you've got him lower than me. What changed? What caused you to finally see the light?
Look, I thought he had turned a corner. This is gonna get real. I thought he had turned a corner as a manager, as a locker room, as a coach, and as a person. I thought he had become better. I thought maybe the engagement had turned him around, but just when he didn't play that running back and lost by 2 points, I thought maybe he could recover from it, and he can't. He can't. If you look at his team, it's a great team.
Yeah.
But sometimes, kind of like the Warriors before Steph Curry or before Steve Kerr, they were a great team. They're great players. They weren't a great team. That's just the case here. And
yeah, for me, I just team is good. I cannot see Will Grogan leading a 3-6 team to the playoffs ever. He is the Doc Rivers of this league, and I love him. But the mismanagement over the years has been stunning. And if he makes the playoffs with a 3-6 record, I will congratulate him. I will apologize. I do not see it happening.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, just had to throw that out there. That is, I mean, you dropped him 9 spots, granted over 2 weeks, but still, I noticed it right away.
Next up, looks like you don't have Mason in your top 6. I do. I don't have Nixon. And just looking at the standings, if I remember, yeah, Nixon 4 and 5.
Yep.
Mason 5 and 4, so game up. I guess you're just saying you like Nixon's roster better.
I like Nixon's roster better. Mason has a big hole at quarterback. Dak out for the season, and he's got like 4 quarterbacks on his roster. None of them are game changers. Don't think Jalen Waddle going forward is going to be a game changer. And that's not even his flex. That's one of his starting receivers. And like I said, I really like Nixon's roster. Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp is back. McLaurin is a really good flex. Wish he had a better tight end than Laporta, but again, serviceable. Najee's been more efficient. Like all these guys are guys that I would love to have on my roster at this time of year. So I do think Nixon has a better roster, though Mason, I think, has a great shot of making the playoffs and has the winning record.
Yeah. It's going to be tight. There's going to be
tight.
There's going to be some heartbreak at the end.
Season starts now. We both, I know I already kind of talked about it, but we both showed, I think, a little love to Ben this week relative to his record, putting him just kind of on the outside looking in. I know I already talked about that, but promising signs there for sure. We both have Hayden last. Just looking for anything else of note. I have Andy a little higher.
Yeah,
I need to figure out why I did that. But
he's lost Mason, and I've just been harping on that all year, so I feel like I have to lower him.
Yeah. The bench is weak. I will not lie. Looking at this bench, it is weak. Blake Corum probably could have been in contention for worst pick of whatever round he was in. I remember seeing him and kind of thinking, I don't think that was a great pick with how good Kyren Williams has been. Bench is weak, but, I like the running backs. He also has Kyren Williams, so I realize now Corum may be a handcuff. He's good at quarterback and Jalen Hurts. Kincaid, really solid tight end. I think Anderson's a team you don't want to see in the playoffs. Second, you could debate it. I could easily see him at fourth, but if he finds some solid bench players for the playoffs, it's a scary team. And we know Anderson can work that waiver wire.
Yep. Also, November 29th is the trade deadline.
Oh, good to know.
I might change it.
Good to note. And I will be in Nashville the week before that, so I'll be looking forward to negotiations with some of you fellas.
I think because it's so tight this year, I think when bye weeks come up and it's a must-win game, I think there might be some scalping going on. And it won't be scalping, it'll just be strategy.
Yeah, some lopsided trades because you have to.
Yep. So that'll be
as opposed to me where I made a bad trade and also the two players were on bye the next 2 weeks. So
happen.
Just no strategy there.
Stop the count. We're both in. Let's just end it now.
I love it. I love it. Absolutely.
Who's with me?
Yeah. It's an interesting playoffs right now as it stands. I mean, Crawl, the 1 seed, he's up and down sometimes. Grant as Crawl, Grant is a fascinating top 3 right now. I don't think it'll hold. But then like probably the 3 league powers in you, Mason, and Anderson, the next 3. That's just a fascinating playoff dynamic.
Very true. A lot of people have been around the block. A lot of rings in this playoffs. So
a lot of rings.
We'll have to see. Week 7 picks. I'm gonna make this short because my throat hurts and we're not keep making ourselves accountable for any of the picks at the end of it. I'm gonna win this week because I'm on fire. 5-game winning streak. What's one more?
So, I think Nixon needs it, and I really like his team. That's why I picked him.
Love it. Speed round. Mason versus Grant. Give me Grant.
Give me Grant.
Mason's team might be bad. We might need to reevaluate. I might need to reevaluate where I had him.
I said Jalen Waddle, not much of a bench. I don't love it.
Javonte Williams. I don't know if I saw that. So give me Grant. Tucker versus you. I
already had Chase Brown
because that'd be funny. So give me Tucker.
Yeah, already had Chase Brown. My team is on the down and down.
Losing Dak. How does that affect C? Do you think?
Yeah, that's a great point. I think he's probably going to get worse. Who's their backup?
Cooper Rush.
Well, then I'm going to be in a rush to the constellation, if you know what I'm saying.
Good one. City of Stars. Ben versus Andy. I believe in miracles. It would be funny for Ben to lose this game. That's all I have.
Wait, why would that be funny? Ben is worse.
Because Jamar Chase scored 55 points.
Yeah. No, I picked Ben because of that, and I like his team regardless, so I don't think he can lose this week.
Fair enough. Crawl versus Houston. Give me Crawl. Set his lineup. And
I believed in Hayden all year. I'm not going back now. McCaffrey is in. The vibes are right.
Skipped one. But that's fine.
I picked Crawl. He's better.
Crawl's playing Houston.
I think you said it. Crawl is just better. I got nothing to say about that one.
Oh, you said Hayden.
Yes. Yeah, Hayden. I've picked him all year. McCaffrey's coming back. Mojo.
What are you talking about?
What?
It's Houston versus Crawl.
Yeah, I'm past that. I'm on to Hayden.
Oh, okay. You didn't comment on it.
And then you made me, and I said, yeah, I picked Crawl. His team is better.
And I can't stop betting on Grogan. I'm an addict, and I have a problem. But that's the first step in solving that problem. It's knowing I have one.
Yeah, I've got Crawl in that one personally.
What are you talking
about? Just kidding.
Okay, good. I was about to lose it.
Let's move on for the picks.
Yes. That was the picks. I wrote the Constitution. You want to look at it real fast in 5 minutes?
Yeah, sure. This will be the longest episode ever.
No, because I kind of sat doing nothing for a while. Okay, I'm gonna let you read it out. Speed read.
The whole thing? Any change brought forth has to have 8 votes. I'm just going to read the things that really stand out. Removal of league members requires 11 votes. So, yeah, I don't know if does Chitty count for any of these?
No.
Set your lineup, $30 buy-in. $10 to the highest weekly score. Love it. I like more money, I think, for the second place. Third place doesn't even get their money back. That's tough. I would argue for a slightly more even distribution. Sager's the commissioner, as long as he's alive. Oh, you can't be traded back to a team. That's interesting. Once you've been traded from them, that's for fantasy, not the NFL, obviously.
That is for the NFL too.
Okay, good to know. Trading picks is not allowed. We know that. Sager can veto any trade. There's something about George.
Read the whole quote.
Yeah, that's they can read it. We have
collusion can be defined the same way George Bush defined pornography. I can't describe it, but I know it when I see it.
We have 3 elected officials. Oh, that got me. That tickled my funny bone.
This is big. I think this is big.
Something about food court.
Read it out. This is important.
All right. Failure to complete duties advertised will result in a 3-year ban, as well as the 12th pick for a 2-year period. Should you feel an official failed, a food court will be held with the commissioner presiding as judge. I don't see how food has any, but I'm always down to call something food court, so that's fine. I love food court. A secondary election will take place if someone has dies or can't do their job. We know the 3 roles at this point. I'm not reading all of those out. Yep. You can decide the draft order any way Sager wants. Auto drafting will be awful and you'll regret it. You can't have a basic logo and name. Does that affect the Nashville Crawdads?
Grandfather clause.
Okay.
Grandfather clause.
A full you don't have to do a full lineup if you're already winning. Otherwise,
and I'm gonna add to this. Continue.
Do I read that or just move on? Okay, whatever, I'll move on. A full lineup. Oh wait, we're already there. You can't name your team after a player you don't have. The Hayden rule, some are calling it. There's no tiebreaker. Conference realignment can be discussed each league year. Any trade barring collusion must go through. Unknown events must go through again, like we did that one time. An accepted trade after a player is injured still go through.
That means like if you had sent out a trade,
right?
Say Chase Brown for Justin Jefferson and didn't cancel it, and then Justin Jefferson got hurt, that person can accept it if you didn't.
Right. If a league member dies, he'll have his team left for 1 year out of respect, and then Chitty will replace him, or Alex or Davis. I threw that one in myself. League trophy gets to the new champion at the draft each year. Failure to know the rules is not a defense. Punishment.
Yeah, I need to do more for punishment.
Under construction.
If
you ever opt out of the league, Sager will never speak of you again. We will hold a funeral because you might as well be dead.
Yep.
Any league members are welcome to draft at Sager's house as long as he's breathing. I think it'd be really funny if the draft wasn't at your house and I just went there. Like I took you up on that. I just show up by myself. And then we can sign the contract. Whew, was that all?
That was all.
Is that the high risers?
That's the high risers. Another classic.
The risers have hied. The risers are higher than ever.
Yes, sir. All right. That was great. See you next week.
See you next week. That might have been our magnum opus.
Might have been.
Could be.